Kimi Antonelli extends his championship lead, Lando Norris goes back-to-back, and George Russell looking like a number 2 driver over at Mercedes. Max Verstappen, fresh off a new contract, had a home race to forget, while the super subs Liam Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda were thrown straight into the deep end. The final Dutch Grand Prix sprint race weekend gave us plenty to talk about. Let's get into it. G'day F1 fans. Mick, we didn't quite get the mixed conditions that we were after. The sprint race definitely wasn't a good advertisement for the calls for 24 sprint races on the grid, but the race did provide quite a bit of action.
Yeah, no, you're right, man. I thought, look out. After Saturday's sprint race, we're in trouble here. Sunday's going to be an absolute disaster, but it turned into the ultimate chess match with Lando Norris taking 31 out of a maximum 32 points this weekend. Boy, oh boy, that thing was on rails. Lando was on fire. And George Russell, man, just not quite there. Started off the weekend beautifully, but couldn't deliver on Sunday. And, well, super subs. Box ticked. Pack your bag. Get on the aeroplane. You've done a brilliant job and head into Monza with plenty of confidence off the back of those performances.
Let's get stuck into it. The sprint race, of course, as we just mentioned, it was a bit of a procession, but it was a good result from George Russell. He really needed to get the weekend off on good footing, which he did. P2 for Lando Norris and P3 for Charles Leclerc. But let's start off a little bit different today. Let's go with Red Bull because there was plenty of news surrounding the team. Naturally, the good news regarding Max Verstappen extending his contract to 2030. Home race, trying to go for the 4th win. But Liam Lawson, potential redemption in this seat. A great opportunity with Isaac Hadjar's injury. Mate, what did you think of the weekend for Red Bull?
Man, first of all, Liam, well done, man. I think he showed maturity this time around. You built into that weekend beautifully. Come qualifying, man, he did the job. Finished only a 10th behind Max. Red Bull, I was watching that car, especially when Max was in qualifying. Man, that thing just looks so lazy. It looks so... When you saw the McLaren and how on the nose it was and the thing was twitching and moving around, the thing was super lazy. Max, full send for 2030. Well, he full send into the wall. That was a scary moment. And, man, it was a shame. Shame for him to finish that way. Look, he needed the wet weather. Like he said in the our preview video, he needed the weather to be a great equaliser. Well, it certainly equalised him in that little wet patch. But for me, Liam, man, stand out. Well done, man. You couldn't have done it any better. Really, you could not have done it any better. Just the fact that you built into the weekend like you did. You got super close in qualifying. You brought home points for the team. The car was clean, even though you nearly did take out Max Verstappen early on.
Mate, that was feisty. But it was good feisty racing.
Yeah, look, man, like I said, their car looked lethargic. Clearly the 4th best car still, so plenty of work to do for them.
Yeah, riding with the onboards with them and comparing it to the other top teams, there was a lot of seesawing at the wheel. It was very loose. The balance definitely wasn't there. Yes, I'm very impressed with Liam. It was a nervous weekend for me because it could have gone either way, but it went the right way. Like you mentioned, he built in and then it was probably a little disappointing in the sprint race qualifying, not being able to crack the Q3 just outside it, but turned it all around for qualifying, got the job done, stayed close to Max. Qualified 8th for the feature race, just 1 position behind Max. And yes, unfortunately, Max with the DNF. Now, I am going to go and play something that you said in the video with Wimbo.
Oh. Well, before you do it, let me just go, I apologise. It was not my intention. Unfortunately, I manifested what you're about to see. You're going for your sake. I hope he does. So it makes
that's nice.
Makes it quite the experience.
That's still nice. But are you going to think?
Are you going to think of me? Like, bro, I hope he bins it in the first corner, big time. Ruins it.
Are you going to think of me when his wing opens up again?
Wimbo!
Commentator's curse, son.
Yep.
Commentators curse.
Well, not only that, on top of that, so a little tidbit. I think it's the last 3 races Max has qualified in 7th. He's DNF'd. So I think, we saw Silverstone, he qualified 7th there, DNF'd. And Austria in 2025, he qualified 7th and DNF'd there as well. So the number 7 is not good for Sir Max Verstappen.
No, it is not.
He's got, till 2030 to turn it around.
Yes, 100%. So a P7 finish in the end for Liam Lawson. Probably not too far off where he may have finished in his own car. But look, brought it home. It was clear that Red Bull was 4th best team out there on pace. So, yeah, he'll go away very happy with that one. May get another shot. We don't really know the extent yet of Isaac Hadjar's injuries, but there is a week off. So maybe a bit of extra time will help Hadjar get back into the car when we return to Monza. All right, now on to McLaren. A good race win for Lando Norris, bringing up back-to-back wins. Piastri, that's still a little bit of a worry there. He was looking good through the qualifying sessions and not too far off the pace, but the race pace just wasn't quite there. What did you make of their weekend? Pretty decent one, all things considered.
After the sprint race, I was like, I don't know. Like, they clearly have a car that's good for one lap, and you could see it just in the attitude of especially Lando's car. The thing was so on the nose, man, and it was just moving around everywhere. And I thought, they had that bit of a performance drop-off during the sprint race, and I thought, they might struggle. But look, they tuned the thing up overnight or before qualifying. The thing was a weapon, man, especially in the hands of Lando. That second stint, man, that thing was a machine. Clearly, the upgrades have worked. They definitely helped Lando. Oscar, look, he struggled on that second stint on the harder tyre, struggled to get them to work. Then he had a slow pit stop. Look, I wouldn't say he had a bad weekend, but in terms of the pace with Lando, he's definitely not where he needs to be, that's for sure.
A pole to checkered flag win for Lando Norris. Had a bit of work to do. It wasn't as straightforward as what it may seem. But Piastri, qualifying P4, but it was only, 1/10 in it, if I remember correctly?
Yeah.
It was pretty close, right? It wasn't much in it. It was
close.
at P4.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, going backwards in the race, finishing P6, I think it was on the hard tyre, right? He really struggled comparatively to what Lando could do. He was pretty happy after qualifying session where he felt that he was able to jump in the car and extract pace out of it pretty quickly in relation to Lando. So now, they're just going to have to look at what happened with that race pace.
For whatever reason, Norris is able to just manage and look after the tyres a little bit better and extract more performance for longer than Oscar can. And, man, that second stint on the hard tyre for Lando, even he said it. He thinks that's one of his best drives. And, mate, he was a gun. He was a gun.
So what do you think? Do you think Norris is making this championship or defending championship tilt interesting? Is there a chance? What's the difference now? Is it around 80-odd points?
Well, it's not impossible. We saw what happened last year. So, but this time Norris is the one chasing down Kimi. So, look, it's not impossible.
Needs a lot of luck, though.
Yeah, needs a lot of luck. But I tell you what, if that car keeps performing like that, he's definitely going to make life hard.
Mercedes. Well, did they make life hard for George Russell with the radio call during the race?
No. Different tyre strategy, different tyre offset. Kimi was clearly quicker. Kimi was in front at the time they made the pit stop. Look, their fight was really with making sure they stayed ahead of the Ferraris. So, unlike Ferrari, they didn't waste any time. They made the decision. Russell didn't really argue too much. He had to ask the question, of course. But look, they definitely weren't on Lando's pace this weekend. But for me, great start to the weekend for George, and I thought, look out, here we go, he's on. But then we got to the race on Sunday, and it just, his pace just wasn't quite on the same level as Kimi's. And Kimi's just doing what he needs to do, man, to win this championship. Keep doing performances like that, whether you win or not. Bring the thing home on the podium and you're going to get the job done. But yeah, for me, Russell looked better, but ultimately just lacked that little bit of pace compared to Kimi.
Yeah, it was a good start to the weekend for George. He obviously got the sprint race win, qualified on pole for that, qualified P2 for the race. So the one lap stuff was pretty good in comparison to his teammate. Kimi was a bit scruffy in the early stages of the weekend. I think P3 finish in the end was pretty fair overall. I think George worked it out pretty quickly that the move over was the right thing to do. Obviously, at the time, you're going to be like questioning it, but I think he realized afterwards and figured that it was the right thing. So he even said P3 was pretty fair on his performance. Now, if you go by the whole weekend as a whole, he didn't give up any points to Kimi. They both walked away from the weekend 23 points apiece. So it's definitely not a bad weekend. Kimi, though, lights out on these on the race start, and then obviously with the restart with Max Verstappen's incident, he was able to jump again. So Kimi absolutely nailing the starts, which was a weakness earlier in the season.
George, he's got a little bit of work to do. Like you said, he walks away. He didn't lose anything. I think he'll actually take a little bit of confidence, given his qualifying performance and the sprint win for sure.
Antonelli leaves Zandvoort, just extending his lead now from 50 points to now 59 points. All right, Ferrari, bit controversial. I mean, you can never go too many races without some sort of, pit strategy controversy surrounding the team in red. Hamilton very fired up on the radio. Do you think in hindsight it would have changed anything if they did swap them the lap earlier?
Oh, look, maybe.
Hard to say because the VSC came out, right?
Yeah, well, the thing was, right, Ferrari made the call to Charles to stay out. Who was he racing? Far out, man. Was it Russell? I think it was Russell, right?
I think it was Russell.
Yeah, man. But basically, stay out if Russell comes in. So he stayed out. So basically, they were going to try the overcut. Then a lap later, really late, he gets the call to come in. But it was too late. Hamilton's frustrated basically because he lost a second and a half sitting behind Charles. Given the context of his pace and the race at the time, extending Hamilton paid off. So Hamilton won and lost with the VSCs during the race. So he got the VSC, which allowed him to get a faster pit stop, a cheaper pit stop, let's say. But the last VSC, as he finally got into range to try and make that pass on Russell, the VSC came out. And then that basically meant he couldn't attempt the move. I don't understand why they put him on the soft tyre. Because before that, they offered him a brand new set of medium tyres, which he had in the bank. And I think if you gave him those mediums, the gap between the soft and the medium wasn't much. But what the medium would have let you do is to push harder for longer and sit in the dirty air for longer. So, yeah, would it have made a difference? Maybe. Maybe not.
It was just your sort of typical Ferrari indecisiveness.
But why are they asking the driver? What, like they're asking the driver, like, do you want the set of new mediums? And Lewis is like, well, you've got the data. You tell me. Like, didn't you say it was slow on Charles? Like, what are you asking me for? Like, just make a decision and stick with it. If it works, it works. It doesn't, it doesn't. But, yeah, look, qualifying, man. If they can qualify up the race pace they showed, man, they had enough they definitely had enough for a podium. 100% enough for a podium. Maybe push Norris for a win, potentially. But when what did they qualify? 5th and 6th. Like that's you need to be at least
Lewis 5th and Charles 6th. Yeah,
you need to be at least 2 positions up on that. You need to be near the front row.
Well, especially at Zandvoort.
But I have to say, Charles probably did look stronger than Lewis this weekend.
Not a lot in it. And speaking of the the driver standings now, Hamilton is still, he's tied in second place, but third on countback because George has, I think, more podiums, more wins. He's still in it, but Yeah, I think Ferrari are going to have to be a whole lot more decisive with their strategies and not getting into this sort of grey area of not sure what to do.
Don't ask the drivers. Tell the drivers. Like
Yeah.
Lewis said, you look what Mercedes did. That's essentially what Ferrari should have done. Just make the call, sort it out later.
All right, Audi promotion off the back of a P8 finish for Nico Hülkenberg. It was a pretty decent weekend out as far as pace to getting into the top 10. Bortoleto definitely opened up the weekend looking like the faster driver. It's Q3 appearance in sprint qualifying and then another Q3 appearance in the feature for the feature race, P9, but unfortunately had that big spin on the opening lap. And, well, Nico Hülkenberg qualifying P13, but managing to bring it home in the points. P8, it was damn close. It could have been a double DNF for all four means. I think Hülkenberg missed Bortoleto by just a matter of inches.
Oh, man. That was wild.
Woo, mate, that could have ended up badly for both, but good points in the bank for Audi. I think it was a pretty good weekend for them overall.
Oh,
Besides, what could have been.
For me, man, they're showing they've got the pace to match it with Racing Bulls and Alpine at the moment. 100%. The frustrating thing for me is it's like one driver does a good job, the other one struggles. Then we get to the race, Gabby has the spin, as lucky Hulk had the pace to capitalise and get points. It's like if they could just consistently have both cars fighting further up the front, rather than one does a good job and one struggles. Plus side is, man, they seem to be getting on top of, well, the reliability, although Hulk, didn't he? He didn't get classified in the sprint race, right?
Yeah, sprint race ended with a power unit problem.
Yeah, so, okay, maybe...
Still lingers.
Take that back. Well, you can edit that bit out. But yeah, look, for me, it's just frustrating because we're constantly seeing the car has the performance to be with Red Bull and Alpine. It's just that it's either one driver and not the other.
But I think heading in the right direction anyway. That's the main thing. When you look at the team overall, definitely heading into the right direction. And who else is heading in the right direction? A promotion on Fernando Alonso, P9 finish.
Look out.
Let's go. 2 points extra for him, 3 points in the driver standings now. That is Aston Martin on the back of, well, we knew that the big upgrade was coming for that Honda power unit. Definitely built into the weekend because I think if I remember correctly, practice 1 was pretty scrappy. I think there were some issues. But look, Fernando, he has qualified. Well, to be honest, it wasn't like the greatest qualifying effort. It was P18, but what a performance to finish P9 in the end. Lance Stroll, well, he just did Lance Stroll things. He actually out-qualified Fernando Alonso, but unfortunately, race DNF.
The drivability issues are still there, and we saw it early on in the weekend. Fernando was complaining about the vibration, and there's some footage out there of him taking his hand off the steering wheel again, so they've got to get on top of that. But they're on the improve, man. Alonso, man, he had a banger of a start, then good strategy, and then had the pace sort of at the end there to hold Gasly off. Like, they're on the improve. We want to see more results like this, and I don't think they're too far away now.
Yeah, Alonso went really long, I think, in that second stint. It was
on the softs too, yeah?
32 laps on the soft and then brought it home 37 on the hards, I believe it was.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and held off Gasly there right at the end too. And, yeah, I mean, look, on the surface level of things, yes, qualifying wasn't super impressive, but I think heading in the right direction. That will be definitely one to watch over the next few races as they get on to top of things. All right, on to Alpine. And, of course, big ramifications for P5 in the Constructors' Championship. They were able to take away a couple of points on the weekend and eat into that deficit they have with Racing Bulls for P5. On the back of Pierre Gasly, it was a good weekend overall for Pierre. Qualified P11 for the feature race, ended up for P10. Yeah, got that solitary point, but also got the solitary point for P8 finish in the sprint as well. Colapinto, well, it was a bit of a scrappy weekend. However, I do believe he wasn't carrying the upgrades like Gasly was.
Yeah.
But there was he got pinged with the yellow flag infringement early in the race when Max spun, and that really did curtail his weekend. Now, there is, I don't know, what did you think of that yellow flag? Did you see the onboard footage of where Franco was in relation to what happened?
I probably paid more attention to the Lindblad one. I didn't quite see Franco's one, but he got pinged twice, Franco, for yellow flag infringements. So he got a second one. So he got the drive-through for the first one, and then he got a penalty for the second one. Double-edged sword, right, for Alpine. Gasly proved that the upgrades are working. Scrappy weekend for Franco. Look, he had decent race pace. It's just race was ruined by penalties. For me, bodes well, though. I think they're back in the mix now with Racing Bulls. Given Lindblad's pace during the race, I think they're still a fraction short, but they're definitely back in the mix. So it'll be interesting to see when Franco gets these upgrades and to have two cars, if they can perform at that level, then it's justification that those upgrades have worked.
Racing Bulls. Of course, the big news, super sub Yuki Tsunoda getting the call up late. Did a great job. Slotted straight in like he hadn't even been away from Formula One since his last race in Abu Dhabi, December last year? Last year it was. Lindblad, unfortunate, just like we were talking about with Franco Colapinto, hit with that yellow flag infringement, got that drive-through and basically curtailed his race. But his pace was good.
Man,
and he definitely believed he was good enough for P8.
Oh, easy. Easy, man. The pace he showed, man, in the race to come back after that drive-through. If he didn't get that penalty, definitely P8. Like that, he was quick, man.
You got to remember, he hit Q3, both sprint and feature race qualifying.
Solid. Yuki, on the other hand, again, job done, man. Like, same as Lawson, showed maturity over the whole weekend. You built up slowly. And you proved that you wouldn't look at a place on the grid next year. There's still plenty of pace in that car. Get Liam back in that thing and, look out.
Yeah, it was a P11 finish in the end for Yuki, just outside the points. P12 for Lindblad. You could probably argue Yuki Tsunoda's three-stop strategy just may not have quite paid off in relation to Alonso's two-stopper. But, it is what it is. But I think he'll walk away pretty happy. I think he did mention, someone asked him, I saw a quote or at least a statement made from him, like, call me.
Yeah.
So basically, if you're out there and you need a driver, give me a call. He definitely put his name back in the shop window.
100%. 100%.
100%. But unfortunate for Racing Bulls, no points over the weekend, despite having a pretty strong car. So only giving up 2 points in that P5 in the Constructors to Alpine. So it was a bit of a damage limitation the end.
They were just lucky Colapinto had a shocker.
That's it. Exactly. Well, he didn't get the upgrades as well. So that leaves us with, we've got to go with Cadillac. Cadillac's getting a bit of a promotion here on the back of a P15 for Sergio Perez. Look, it was the first race weekend with their new team principal. They tended to stay out of trouble. I think the big thing was Bottas looked a lot more pacier against Perez when it came to the one lap stop, of course. Now, it wasn't anything amazing to talk about. Unfortunately, Bottas did retire late with a hydraulic issue affecting the rear wing. So, of course, reliability problems over there are still an issue. Good to see that the brakes still worked, of course, because that's been a recurring theme. I don't know, mate. What do you want to say about Cadillac?
Nothing. You just said it all. Basic. Another testing session. But, for me, Bottas is starting to come good now over Perez. He looked good all weekend. It was just unfortunate that the hydraulic issue affected his race. But, look, they've got the new team principal now. It'll be interesting to see in what direction the team goes now for the rest of the season. But, keep improving.
Can you also say this to Williams or start improving? Williams, well, it was just one of those weekends again. I mean, the drivers looked a lot happier with some of the changes they made over the start of the weekend where they got the car more predictable, obviously not fast, but a whole lot more predictable. Alex able to out-qualify Carlos, P16 start, Carlos back in P17. But when it came to the race, well, that's where the fireworks happened. Near the end, well, they got a bit too close for comfort. Carlos, big lock-up, and they've come together.
Yeah, well, that was just a case of really old tyres for Carlos, breaking over a bump, locking up, and yeah, unfortunately ruined both their races. I thought Albon looked better than Sainz, though, all weekend. At one stage there, like, Albon's pace, man, was not too far off the midfield, and I thought, oh, look out, he might be able to pick up a scrap here. But unfortunately, yeah, when you crash into your teammate and Albon didn't finish in the end, so...
Yeah. But I think a good confidence weekend for Alex, though, because he was the better of Sainz over the majority of the weekend. Yeah. He didn't cause the accident.
Yeah.
The guy that reportedly signed the $30 million contract did all the damage in that aspect. So I think Alex can at least walk away. He got one over his more fancy teammate.
Yeah.
And he can build on that into Monza.
Yep. And if you're James Vowles, you'd be going, that $30 million contract is now 27.5
damages. Got to pay for the damages.
Son.
Just the old what was it? The old Toto Wolff play when Rosberg and Hamilton came together. I think there was a time where he basically made them pay for the damages.
Yeah.
So there you go. Vowles, take a stand. And that leaves us with a very disappointing HAAS team, but like Williams, the guy under pressure over there, Esteban Ocon, able to out-qualify his teammates in both sessions, right? P14 in the sprint qualifying.
In the squint?
15, in the squint. Just can't get it out this morning. That's all right. All right. We all make mistakes. But yeah, I think Esteban, similar to Albon, it was a confidence-building weekend, and he was able to get one up over his younger, more fancy teammate.
I still believe he is finished in HAAS anyway. Whether he's finished in Formula One, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Double DNF, unfortunate.
First one of the season, I think.
Yeah, both with power unit issues, Ferrari-powered engines as well, so something Ferrari need to look at there, but mate, seriously, they're now, floundering around with Williams and Cadillac. There is a lot of work to do. Hey, Komatsu, get on the phone and get Yuki Tsunoda in that second seat.
Oh, go on Honda, release him into the Toyota fold. That could be the play. All right, well, that pretty much sums up the weekend. I guess we walk away still with a few unknowns going into Monza, whether Hadjar will be back. Tsunoda, as we just talked about, may get another shot to advertise his services to other Formula One teams. Lawson may get another shot as well. Where do we go from here? Monza. Mate, Temple of Speed should be a good one. But as far as our predictions, how do you think we went with those, man? How do you think we went?
Not that great. As per usual. As per usual, we're floundering down the back with Cadillac.
It was 8-5 going into this weekend. I believe I have pulled out 2 extra points. Unfortunately, Mick, you got a big donut this week. Although, I must admit, your predictions were pretty close. The orders were very, very close. I was able to manage to predict, was it P3 for the sprint race for Charles Leclerc? And P2 for Kimi Antonelli. But I must admit, I was big on Max Verstappen this weekend.
Yep. Well, I got that right. I wasn't.
Yeah.
So can I get a point for that? Come on.
So there we go. 10-5 is the updated score. And of course, that is the most important score of the year. Well, mate, On to Monza. I'm looking forward to it. I am looking forward to it.
Yeah, man, it's going to be interesting. We got Ferrari reportedly bringing the A Duo 2.0, expected to, well, they're saying around 15 horsepower. Some people believe 30. But will it bring them back into the mix? I guess that's the main question.
Looking back over the weekend, what was the thing that stuck out for you? Was it a driver performance, team performance?
I think there was a few. I think Liam and Yuki, definitely. But the drive from Norris, man, that's probably my biggest takeaway. The dude is on fire, driving better than he ever has, driving like a world champion. And now he's got a car that can deliver. He's certainly back in the mix, I think.
Yeah, you're right, mate. Lando is looking on fire. 83 points is the deficit. It is possible. A lot of luck will need to go his way. But, you just never know, particularly what we saw last year from Max Verstappen being able to overhaul a massive deficit as well. Well, if you made it this far, we are still on the road to 1,000 subs. I think we're close to maybe breaking even by the end of the season. So if you do like the channel, give us that support. We will appreciate it. Hit that sub button, like button as well. Mick, I'll leave you with the final thoughts until we head into Monza, the Temple of Speed, Italy.
A dominant drive from young Lando Norris. But the question still remains, can anyone run down Kimi Antonelli? Yes, there's still a long way to go and anything can happen. And yes, people do need a lot of luck. Ferrari, well, bumbled it again. What can we say? But we move on to the Temple of Speed. Kimi Antonelli, home race. He is going to be on fire. So until then, we will catch you in the next one.
Catch up.